Welcome to my channel, Valuable Coins All World. If you've ever wondered if those old coins you have lying around could be worth a fortune, you're in the right place. In today's video, we're diving into some of the rarest US coins, revealing their jaw-dropping values that will leave you amazed. Stick with us till the end. You won't want to miss what these hidden treasures could be worth. Let's get started. Top 1. In this video, we're going to explore the fascinating story behind the 1980 Washington Quarter, a coin that holds more than just historical significance. We'll delve into its design, minting history, and the reasons it has become such an attractive and valuable piece of American currency. You'll be surprised at the twists and turns this simple quarter takes, and in the end, you'll see just how much value one of these coins could hold if you're lucky enough to come across the right one. The year is 1980. And the United States is in the midst of a decade filled with change. Ronald Reagan was elected as president. The Cold War was still in full swing, and the nation was dealing with the economic pressures of inflation and rising interest rates. Amid all the political and economic shifts, one thing remained constant: the circulation of U.S. coins, including the iconic Washington Quarter. The Washington Quarter was first introduced in 1932, designed to commemorate the 200th anniversary of George Washington's birth. This design, created by artist John Flanagan, features the left-facing profile of Washington on the obverse, with the words "Liberty" and "In God We Trust" inscribed around the portrait. The year of minting also appears on this side of the coin. Over time, the quarter has undergone various design changes, but the image of Washington has remained the consistent feature on the front. On the reverse of the Washington Quarter, we see an eagle perched on an olive branch, its wings spread wide in a symbol of strength and peace. The words "United States of America" and "E Pluribus Unum" appear around the eagle, and at the bottom, we find the denomination quarter dollar. This classic design remained in place for many years, and by the time 1980 rolled around, it had become one of the most recognizable symbols of U.S. currency. But what makes the 1980 Washington Quarter so unique? At first glance, it might seem like just another quarter among many, but as with all coins, there's much more to the story. In 1980, the U.S. Mint was still producing these quarters with the same composition that had been used since 1965, a copper-nickel blend, with the core of the coin made of copper and the outer layers consisting of nickel. This mixture gives the coin its distinctive silver-colored appearance and durability, allowing it to withstand years of circulation. However, despite its common composition and appearance, the 1980 Washington Quarter, like many other coins, became part of a larger story of scarcity, error, and rare minting processes that would make it incredibly valuable to certain collectors. And this is where the fascinating world of numismatics, coin collecting, comes into play. To understand why some 1980 Washington Quarters have fetched eye-watering amounts at auctions, we need to look at the importance of rarity and condition in the world of coin collecting. While most of the 1980 Washington Quarters are worth their face value, the ones that stand out are those that exhibit rare errors or flaws in the minting process. These errors are often what make a coin highly sought after, and over the years, collectors have become increasingly interested in quarters from the late 20th century, especially ones from the 1980s. One of the most common errors to look for in the 1980 Washington Quarter is the double die error. A double die error occurs when the coin's design is struck more than once, causing a slight duplication of the image on the coin. In the case of the 1980 Quarter, this could result in doubled or blurry features on Washington's portrait or the inscriptions around the coin. These double die errors are rare, but when they do occur, they can make a coin significantly more valuable to collectors. Another error that can increase the value of the 1980 Washington Quarter is the misaligned die error. This happens when the coin is struck at an angle, causing the design to be off-center. The resulting coin may look slightly tilted or crooked, but to a collector, it's a prized find. Misaligned die errors are highly collectible, especially when they are as noticeable as those on certain 1980 quarters. It's not just minting errors that can drive up the value of a coin, though. The condition of the coin is just as important. Coins that have been well preserved and remain in near-mint condition, often referred to as uncirculated coins, are far more valuable than those that have been circulated and show signs of wear. A 1980 Washington Quarter that has been stored in pristine condition, free from scratches, discoloration, and other signs of aging, is highly desirable among collectors. Now, let's talk about the star of the show. The 1980 Washington Quarter that can sell for up to $60,000. What makes this coin so valuable? Well, This particular quarter is a result of a perfect storm of rarity, error, and condition. It features an incredibly rare error, a double die, which has caused the design on the obverse to appear doubled. Not only that, but the coin is in pristine, uncirculated condition, making it a true gem for collectors. When this coin was auctioned off, it fetched an astonishing $60,000, shocking both collectors and numismatists alike. How did this happen? Well, the coin's rarity, coupled with its nearly flawless condition, created the perfect storm for an eye-popping sale price. This is what makes coin collecting so exciting, the hunt for the rare and the valuable. A simple Washington quarter, minted in 1980, could sit in your pocket for years without you ever realizing its worth. But if you happen to stumble upon one with a minting error or in pristine condition, you might just find yourself holding a small fortune in your hands. So, what does this mean for you as a collector or someone just looking through their change? The next time you come across a 1980 Washington quarter, take a moment to inspect it closely. Look for any signs of minting errors, double strikes, misalignments, or any other unusual features. Check the condition of the coin. Is it free from scratches or wear? If it is, you could be holding something far more valuable than you might think. The 1980 Washington quarter is a perfect example of how something as seemingly ordinary as a coin can have incredible value. Thanks to the potential for rare minting errors and the importance of condition, this coin has become one of the most sought-after pieces in modern numismatics. And with a current value of $60,000 for a particularly rare specimen, it serves as a reminder that hidden treasures can be found in the most unexpected places. Top 2. A single 1983 Washington quarter. So why would a coin that looks so ordinary be worth so much? The answer lies within the history of this coin, the factors that make it rare, and the incredible appeal it holds in the numismatic world. In this video, we're diving deep into the story of the 1983 Washington quarter, a coin that might just be hiding in your spare change and could turn out to be worth far more than you ever imagined. The year is 1983. The United States was at the beginning of a new era, with President Ronald Reagan firmly in power, and the economy was seeing the aftershocks of the 1970s turbulent inflation. American society was evolving rapidly, embracing the technological revolution, the rise of personal computers, and new forms of entertainment that would define the next decade. Amidst all of these changes, the U.S. Mint was continuing its job of producing coins for circulation. Among these coins was the Washington quarter, a staple of American currency. The Washington quarter first appeared in 1932, created to commemorate the 200th anniversary of George Washington's birth. The coin's design, by John Flanagan, featured a portrait of Washington on the obverse front, which became one of the most recognized images on U.S. currency. Washington's profile, looking to the right, was surrounded by the words Liberty and In God We Trust, along with the year the coin was minted. The reverse back of the quarter depicted a majestic eagle with its wings spread, symbolizing the strength and ideals of America. Below the eagle, the words United States of America and E Pluribus Unum were inscribed, while quarter dollar appeared at the bottom. This design remained in place for decades, becoming ingrained in the collective memory of the American public. By the time the 1980s rolled around, the quarter was still an essential part of everyday life, circulating widely and frequently being used for small purchases and in vending machines. The design remained unchanged throughout the 1980s, including on the 1983 Washington quarter. Now, let's take a closer look at the 1983 Washington quarter. While the design remained the same as in previous years, it was still part of a dynamic period for U.S. coinage. The early 1980s marked the final years of production for coins using a high copper content. In 1982, the U.S. Mint had transitioned the penny from a copper composition to a copper-plated zinc alloy due to the rising cost of copper, and the Washington quarter remained primarily composed of copper-nickel. This metallic composition, 75% copper and 25% nickel, was used for the Washington quarter from 1965 onward and remains in use for quarters today. While these details may seem ordinary, it's important to recognize that not all 1983 Washington quarters are created equal. While the vast majority of them are worth only 25 cents, there are rare and unique versions of the coin that have been struck with defects, errors, or that have been kept in pristine condition. These rare coins are the ones that have captivated collectors and, in some cases, earned prices well above their expected face value. The 1983 Washington quarter, while seemingly unremarkable in appearance, has a few specific details that could make it incredibly valuable. Let's start with the most important factor in determining the value of any coin: rarity. The 1983 Washington quarter is notable for having been minted in large quantities. Almost 748 million of these coins were produced that year. When you think about it, that's a lot of quarters. A coin minted in such massive numbers usually wouldn't be expected to hold significant value unless it had a rare feature or error. But, as collectors know, errors are where the true value lies. One of the most common and valuable errors on the 1983 Washington quarter is the dropped letter error. This happens when a die used to strike the coin wears out or suffers damage, causing a part of the design, such as a letter or number, to appear weak or missing. In the case of the 1983 Washington quarter, some coins were struck with this defect, and certain letters on the coin were faint or completely absent. These dropped letters can make the coin highly desirable, as they create a visual anomaly that makes the coin stand out from the regular, mass-produced versions. Another notable error is the off-center strike, which occurs when the coin is struck by the die at an angle or in the wrong position. As a result, the design appears to be off-center, with parts of the coin's edge left blank. These off-center strikes are rare, and coins with this type of error are highly prized by collectors. The more significant the misalignment, the more valuable the coin becomes. Coins with extreme off-center strikes can fetch a premium price, with some even reaching thousands of dollars in auction. Of course, while errors are one way to boost a coin's value, condition is another. Like with any collectible, the better the condition, the higher the price. Coins that have been kept in pristine, uncirculated condition are always more valuable than those that have been heavily used and worn. The 1983 Washington quarter is no exception to this rule. A coin that has remained in excellent condition, with no visible scratches, discoloration, or wear to the design, is much more valuable than one that has been circulated for decades. And this brings us to the most impressive reveal of all: the current value of some of these rare 1983 Washington quarters. As of today, certain 1983 Washington quarters, those with unique errors, minting anomalies, or flawless condition, are selling for prices as high as $62,000. That's right. While most of us might spend a quarter without giving it a second thought, these rare coins are commanding jaw-dropping prices at auctions. The coin with the most value typically features a notable error, such as the dropped letter or off-center strike, combined with mint condition preservation. You may be wondering, how can a coin worth only 25 cents end up fetching so much money? It's simple. Coin collecting is all about rarity, condition, and uniqueness. The 1983 Washington quarter has become a coveted piece for collectors, and those few lucky enough to find a rare one in excellent condition or with a significant error have seen their coins transform into highly valuable treasures. So, what does this mean for you as a collector or someone just browsing through your loose change? It means that the next time you come across a 1983 Washington quarter, you should take a closer look. Does it have any signs of a minting error? Is it in near-perfect condition? If so, it could very well be worth far more than you imagined. The 1983 Washington quarter is a prime example of how a coin, seemingly ordinary and widespread, can hold extraordinary value when rare errors or exceptional conditions come into play. It's a reminder that numismatics, or coin collecting, is an exciting world full of hidden treasures, waiting to be discovered in your pocket change or at your local coin shop. With coins like the 1983 Washington quarter reaching impressive values such as $62,000, it's worth your time to check for the rarities that might be hiding in plain sight. Top 3. When you find a quarter from 1986, it looks like just another coin, worn and faded from years of circulation. But what if I told you that this simple 1986 Washington quarter could be worth a staggering $54,000? Yes, you heard that right. A single 1986 Washington quarter could potentially fetch up to $54,000 at auction. For most people, a quarter is just pocket change, used and forgotten. But for those in the world of numismatics or coin collecting, this particular coin represents more than just its face value. It holds a history, a unique design, and in certain cases, incredible value. So, what makes the 1986 Washington quarter so special? And why has it become so sought after by collectors? Stick with me, and we'll uncover the story behind this seemingly ordinary coin, and the surprising twist at the end that could make it worth far more than you imagine. Let's take a step back in time, to the year 1986. The United States was in the midst of an exciting and transformative decade. The country was coming off the tail end of the Reagan era, and the 1980s were a time of major political, technological, and cultural shifts. From the rise of personal computers to the cultural explosion of MTV, the world was changing rapidly. And as the country shifted, so too did its coinage. The Washington quarter had been a staple of U.S. currency for over 50 years by the time 1986 arrived. First introduced in 1932 to commemorate the 200th anniversary of George Washington's birth, the quarter was designed by John Flanagan, featuring a left-facing portrait of Washington on the obverse, front, side of the coin. Surrounding the portrait are the words, "Liberty," and "In God We Trust," with the year of minting displayed at the bottom. On the reverse, back, a bold eagle, wings spread wide, clutches an olive branch in its talons, representing peace, while also holding arrows, symbolizing strength. This design remained the same from its inception, with slight modifications over the years, but the 1986 Washington quarter retained the hallmark features of its predecessors. And while this design had remained constant for decades, there were subtle shifts in the coin's production process that would ultimately contribute to its collector appeal. Throughout the 1980s, the U.S. Mint produced the Washington quarter using the same metallic composition that had been used since 1965, an alloy of 91.67% copper and 8.33% nickel. The mix created the familiar silver-like color that we associate with the quarter, making it easily distinguishable from other coins in circulation. And although the design remained the same, the actual process of minting and producing these coins was becoming more advanced, thanks to improvements in technology. But even with these technological advancements, many of these quarters were still produced in large quantities. In 1986, over 680 million quarters were minted across all three minting locations: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. With such a large mintage, most 1986 Washington quarters are just that: ordinary, run-of-the-mill coins worth only 25 cents. But for those with a keen eye, it's the rare variants, errors, and pristine specimens that would go on to change the fate of this coin in the numismatic world. One of the most crucial factors in determining the value of any coin is rarity. When you think about it, with nearly 700 million of these quarters in circulation, how could a coin like the 1986 Washington quarter ever become valuable? That's where the story gets interesting. While most of these coins are readily available and worth little more than their face value, there are certain factors that can drastically increase their appeal to collectors. First, let's talk about errors. A minting error can be a huge draw for collectors, and it can elevate a coin from being worth just a quarter to being worth thousands, sometimes tens of thousands, of dollars. Common minting errors include things like double strikes, where the coin is struck more than once, creating a blurry or doubled image. Another potential error is a misaligned die, where the coin is struck at an angle, causing the design to be off-center. These errors can make a coin look very different from a typical Washington quarter, and they are highly sought after by collectors because of their rarity. The 1986 Washington quarter is no exception. There have been reports of misaligned dies, double strikes, and other errors from the minting process. These coins can sometimes be found in circulation, although they're incredibly rare. A 1986 Washington quarter with a noticeable error can sell for much higher than its face value, often fetching hundreds or even thousands of dollars at auction. But it's not just the errors that make the 1986 Washington quarter valuable. Condition plays a significant role in its value as well. Coins that have been well preserved and remain in excellent condition are worth far more than those that have been heavily circulated and show signs of wear. When it comes to rare coins like the 1986 Washington quarter, even a small imperfection can lower its value dramatically. A coin in near mint or mint condition is worth significantly more because it hasn't been exposed to the elements over the years, which can wear down the design and details of the coin. For collectors, finding a 1986 Washington quarter in pristine condition is a treasure. Coins that are well preserved, with sharp details, no scratches, and no signs of discoloration, are incredibly desirable. These coins are not only important for their rarity, but also for their aesthetic appeal, something that numismatists value deeply. Now, let's talk about the most exciting part, the big reveal: the current value of certain 1986 Washington quarters. Some rare specimens of the 1986 Washington quarter, particularly those with significant minting errors or in exceptional condition, have been known to sell for upwards of $54,000. This is a staggering amount for a coin that, on the surface, seems so ordinary. But when you combine rarity, condition, and specific minting errors, you get a coin that's worth far more than just its face value. So, what exactly makes these coins so valuable? For starters, the rare 1986 Washington quarters with errors or minting flaws are few and far between. These errors make the coin special, and collectors are willing to pay a premium for a piece of American history that is unlike any other. Combine that with a coin in mint condition, and you've got a true collectible that could be worth thousands, or even tens of thousands, of dollars. Now, if you're wondering how to spot a rare 1986 Washington quarter in your collection or change, here's what you should look for. Start by checking for any noticeable minting errors. Does the design appear doubled? Is there a misalignment or off-center strike? If so, you may be looking at a valuable coin. Next, examine the coin's condition. Is it in pristine, uncirculated condition, with sharp details and no wear? If it is, you could have a hidden gem on your hands. So, what can we take away from this story? The 1986 Washington quarter, while seemingly just another coin from the 1980s, holds the potential for immense value if you know what to look for. Whether you find a rare minting error or stumble upon a perfectly preserved coin, you might just be holding something worth far more than 25 cents. As we wrap up this video, remember that the next time you find a 1986 Washington quarter in your pocket, you may want to take a closer look. It could be your ticket to a treasure worth $54,000 or even more. Coin collecting is a fascinating world, filled with surprises and hidden gems, and sometimes, the most ordinary-seeming coins can turn out to be incredibly valuable. Top 4. It's the 1994 Washington quarter. To the untrained eye, it seems like just another in a long line of familiar coins, no different from the hundreds you've seen over the years. But what if I told you that this seemingly ordinary coin, the 1994 Washington quarter, could be worth as much as $44,000? Yes, that's right, $44,000. A coin that looks like any other quarter could be worth a fortune. But how could this happen? What makes the 1994 Washington quarter so special, and why is it drawing the attention of collectors willing to pay such an enormous amount? In this video, we'll explore the fascinating story behind this coin, its historical background, design, minting process, and the specific features that make it valuable. We'll dive into the unique appeal of the 1994 Washington quarter, and by the end of this video, you'll understand why this coin could potentially be worth a small fortune. Let's go back to 1994. The United States was navigating through a significant time of change. The early 1990s marked the end of the Cold War, and the world was beginning to embrace a new era of globalization and technological growth. Personal computers were becoming a fixture in every home, and the internet was starting to change the way we communicated, shopped, and did business. But even as technology advanced, some things remained constant, and the U.S. Mint continued its role in producing the nation's coinage. By the time 1994 arrived, the Washington quarter had been in circulation for more than 6 decades. Introduced in 1932 to commemorate the 200th anniversary of George Washington's birth, the Washington quarter was designed by John Flanagan. His design features a left-facing bust of George Washington on the obverse, the front of the coin, surrounded by the inscriptions Liberty and In God We Trust, with the mint year appearing below Washington's profile. On the reverse side of the coin, a majestic eagle, wings outstretched, symbolizes the strength of the United States, while the words United States of America and E Pluribus Unum are inscribed, along with the denomination quarter dollar. This design remained essentially unchanged for over 60 years, and by 1994, it had become one of the most iconic and widely circulated coins in American history. Every day, people across the country used Washington quarters for small purchases, whether it was grabbing a cup of coffee, parking at the meter, or making change at the store. At first glance, the 1994 Washington quarter appears to be just another piece of currency. But what sets this particular coin apart is the year it was minted, and the factors that might make it incredibly valuable to the right person. Now, let's talk about the specifics of the 1994 Washington quarter. By this time, the United States Mint was well established in its production process. The coin was made primarily of copper nickel, with a composition of 91.67% copper and 8.33% nickel. This alloy gave the coin its familiar silver-like appearance. Millions of Washington quarters were produced in 1994, with 3 minting locations, Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco, striking the coins. Together, these mints created nearly 700 million 1994 Washington quarters. That's a huge number, and it's no surprise that most 1994 quarters are worth only 25 cents, as they're part of such a large mintage. However, as with any collectible, rarity is the key factor that drives value. And while there were a lot of 1994 Washington quarters minted, there are certain rare versions that stand out from the rest. These rare coins are the ones that make collectors sit up and pay attention. What makes the 1994 Washington quarter valuable, you may ask? The answer lies in errors, unique characteristics, and the condition of the coin. Let's start with minting errors. If you're familiar with coin collecting, you know that errors can make a coin far more valuable than its face value. These errors often occur during the minting process when a coin is struck incorrectly or is damaged during production. In the case of the 1994 Washington quarter, a variety of minting errors occurred, errors that were not intentional, but ones that have become highly sought after by numismatists. One of the most famous errors that can be found on 1994 Washington quarters is the dropped letter error. This occurs when a part of the die used to strike the coin becomes damaged or deteriorates, causing part of the design to appear faint, weak, or missing entirely. In the case of the 1994 quarter, some coins were struck with a weak or missing letter, which makes them stand out from the more typical coins. These coins with the dropped letter error are incredibly rare and highly collectible. Another minting error to look out for is the off-center strike. This happens when the coin is not aligned properly in the press, resulting in a portion of the coin being blank or missing part of its design. Off-center coins are often considered highly desirable in the collecting world, and those that feature a significant misalignment, where a large portion of the design is off-center, are especially valuable. Now, let's talk about the condition of the coin. As with any collectible, the condition of the coin is crucial to determining its value. Coins that are in mint state, meaning they have never been used in circulation and have no signs of wear or damage, are much more valuable than coins that have been circulated over time. A 1994 Washington quarter in perfect, uncirculated condition, with sharp details and no visible wear, could easily command a premium price compared to a coin that's been battered by years of use. Coins that are graded as proof coins are also highly sought after. Proof coins are specially made for collectors and are struck using a different process to give them a high level of detail and a shiny, mirror-like finish. The 1994 Washington quarter was also produced as a proof coin, and these pieces are far rarer than the standard circulating coins. Proof coins from the U.S. Mint are often sold in sets, making them even more valuable to collectors who seek complete collections. So, what does all of this mean for the value of the 1994 Washington quarter? The current value of this coin can vary dramatically, depending on the specific features we've discussed. A regular, uncirculated 1994 Washington quarter is still only worth its face value, 25 cents. However, if the coin has an error, such as a dropped letter or off-center strike, or if it's in pristine, uncirculated condition, its value could soar. The most impressive example of a rare 1994 Washington quarter has sold for as much as $44,000. That's right, a single quarter, minted in 1994, could be worth as much as $44,000 to the right buyer. It may seem hard to believe that a coin worth just 25 cents could be worth so much, but that's the magic of coin collecting. The rarity, condition, and errors present on a coin are what determine its value. And in the case of the 1994 Washington quarter, those rare features have driven its value into the thousands. So, how can you tell if the 1994 Washington quarter in your collection is worth a small fortune? The first thing you should do is examine the coin for any noticeable errors, such as a weak or missing letter, a double strike, or an off-center strike. Next, check the condition of the coin. If it looks like it was just minted yesterday, with no signs of wear, you might have a gem on your hands. If you have any doubts about the coin's value, you can always have it professionally graded by a numismatic expert. In conclusion, the 1994 Washington quarter is far more than just a quarter you find in your pocket change. It's a coin with a rich history, a timeless design, and the potential to be worth tens of thousands of dollars. If you're lucky enough to find one with a rare minting error or an exceptional condition, you could have a valuable piece of numismatic history on your hands. Top 5. What if I told you that this seemingly ordinary 1998 Washington quarter could be worth a jaw-dropping $37,000? Yes, you heard me right, $37,000. That's the kind of money a rare 1998 Washington quarter can fetch, depending on its condition and specific features. It might seem hard to believe, especially since most 1998 quarters are still circulating today, but the world of coin collecting is filled with hidden treasures that most people overlook. Coins that you've probably encountered countless times in your pocket can actually be worth far more than their face value. And today we're going to dive into the fascinating world of the 1998 Washington quarter to explore why this seemingly common coin can hold such immense value. But first, let's set the stage. The year 1998 was significant for many reasons. It marked the 50th anniversary of the first ever U.S. mint coins made from the copper-nickel-clad composition, an alloy that would come to dominate American coinage for decades. It was also a year of change and progress in America. The 1990s were a decade of technological leaps, cultural shifts, and new possibilities for the future. While Americans were glued to their televisions watching the rise of the internet, in the background, the United States Mint continued to produce the coins that made up the everyday currency of the nation. By 1998. The Washington quarter had been a part of America's coinage for nearly 66 years. First introduced in 1932 to commemorate the 200th anniversary of George Washington's birth, the quarter featured the first ever depiction of the nation's first president on a coin. Designed by artist John Flanagan, this iconic coin showed Washington's bust on the obverse front, side, surrounded by the words Liberty and In God We Trust. On the reverse back of the coin, an eagle in full flight symbolized the strength and freedom of the United States, and the words United States of America and E Pluribus Unum were inscribed along with quarter dollar. While the design of the Washington quarter had remained largely unchanged for decades, the 1998 version would mark a significant moment in its long history. It was a coin produced in large quantities, meant to be used for everyday transactions, with over 500 million coins minted that year alone. While most 1998 Washington quarters would be used in daily commerce and exchanged for their face value, there's more to this coin than meets the eye. Let's take a closer look at the specific features of the 1998 Washington quarter. The coin was composed of a mixture of 91.67% copper and 8.33% nickel, a standard alloy that gave it its characteristic silver-like color and durability. By the time 1998 rolled around, this composition was a regular feature of U.S. coinage, as it had been used since 1965, following the cessation of silver in coins due to a national coin shortage. The Mint produced three versions of the 1998 Washington quarter: standard circulation coins, proof coins, and uncirculated coins. While the circulation coins were the ones most commonly seen in pocket change, the proof and uncirculated versions were specially made for collectors. Proof coins, struck using specially polished dies, have a high gloss, mirror-like finish and sharp, defined details. These coins are particularly prized by collectors, as they are rarely seen in circulation and are intended for presentation or collection. On the other hand, uncirculated coins, though not quite as finely crafted as proof coins, are still prized for their superior condition. Given the sheer volume of 1998 Washington quarters minted, more than 500 million across three mint locations, Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco, you might assume that most of them would be worth only face value. After all, a coin produced in such large numbers seems like it would be common, and by definition, something that is common is typically not worth much. But there's a twist. You see, the Washington quarter is a coin with a history of minting errors, and errors can have a significant impact on the value of a coin. Let's talk about minting errors for a moment. In the world of numismatics, errors are a big deal. Whether it's a double strike, an off-center coin, or a missing feature, coins that deviate from the standard design are often worth much more than their regular counterparts. The 1998 Washington quarter is no exception. Coins with minting flaws, such as a misaligned die or an incomplete strike, are highly coveted by collectors because of their rarity. One of the most well-known errors that can be found in the 1998 Washington quarter is the clipped planchet error. This occurs when a blank piece of metal, called a planchet, doesn't fully feed into the coin press, causing part of the coin to be clipped or missing. These clipped planchet coins are much rarer than the standard issue coins, and because they are visually distinct, they attract significant interest from collectors. Finding a 1998 Washington quarter with a clipped planchet error can increase its value exponentially. Imagine finding one of these in your change jar. It could turn a simple quarter into thousands of dollars. Another rare variation that makes the 1998 Washington quarter so attractive to collectors is the double die error. A double die occurs when the die used to stamp the design onto the coin is misaligned, causing the image to appear twice. This gives the coin a unique, doubled appearance, especially on the inscriptions and Washington's profile. These double die errors are highly sought after because they represent an error that can't be replicated, making them extremely rare and valuable. The condition of a coin also plays a critical role in determining its value. A 1998 Washington quarter that has been kept in pristine condition, free of scratches, dings, and wear can be worth much more than one that has been heavily circulated. Proof coins, which are specially minted for collectors, are often in perfect condition and can fetch high prices on the market, especially when they are part of a complete set. If you come across a 1998 Washington quarter in flawless, uncirculated condition, it could be worth far more than its 25-cent face value. Now, let's get to the most exciting part, the reveal. What's the value of the 1998 Washington quarter today? While most 1998 quarters are worth just 25 cents, certain rare specimens with minting errors, especially those in mint condition, have been known to sell for as much as $37,000. That's right, an ordinary quarter from a regular year like 1998 could potentially be worth tens of thousands of dollars. The reason for such high values is the rarity of these special error coins and the demand among collectors for unique pieces of American history. A 1998 Washington quarter with a notable error, like a clipped planchet or a double die, is a prize for any serious collector. And when the coin is in excellent condition, particularly if it's a proof coin or an uncirculated coin, its value only increases. If you ever find yourself with a 1998 Washington quarter, it's worth taking a closer look. Check for any minting errors, inspect its condition, and if you believe you've found something truly unique, consider having the coin professionally graded. A coin that looks like a simple quarter could very well be hiding a treasure worth far more than its face value. To wrap up, the 1998 Washington quarter is far from just another run-of-the-mill coin. It's a piece of American history, and with the right features, such as minting errors or impeccable condition, it could fetch an impressive $37,000 at auction. Coin collecting is a thrilling world, filled with hidden treasures, and sometimes, the most ordinary-looking coins can surprise you with their incredible value. Thank you for joining me on this exciting journey into the world of the 1998 Washington quarter. If you enjoyed learning about rare coins and the fascinating world of numismatics, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe for more videos. Who knows, your next treasure might be waiting in your change jar. Happy collecting!